Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous. And this is Anonymous, the firefighter candidate from the Boomer video I just know. Here's his story. Hey, Ollie, it's Anonymous, the firefighter candidate from the Boomer I just know video. Just sent a donation. Wish it was more, but I just got hit hard for car repairs. Cars are expensive. Figuring that out. This is an update to my story, and please tell your viewers to watch the I Just Know video first. So my narcissistic family just won't quit. Though I am low contact with most of them, I cannot go no contact yet, at least not with my mother and brother. Sadly, I lived with them. I moved back home last year to take care of my dying father, who died over the holidays. I want to move now, but the logistics are not in my favor. One, despite working 2 jobs, I'm underemployed, and I am scraping by paying bills and students, in addition to the cost of gas and tolls to get to my tests. Also chipping in the bills at the house, though I mainly just shower and sleep there. Yeah, man, that's the society the baby boomers have created. You're working 2 jobs, underemployed at both of them, okay, and barely getting by, and barely scraping by. That's what they do, because that's the society they have created. Now, funny, because this week we had our own run-in with a baby boomer boss, believe it or not. So Charlene, after being told she was part of the nucleus of this company, okay, and had, they used her for all her knowledge and to create training manuals and everything, they laid her off out of nowhere on Monday. Clearly just used her, eliminated her job after being told you're part of the nucleus of this company. Go on vacation for a week. Let her go on vacation, use up her PTO. As soon as she comes, or paid time off, as soon as she comes back, they lay her off. Cold. She's like, I thought I was part of the nucleus. Nothing. Just like that. Well, luckily, because of her experience and everything else, and because the fucking economy is so good, thank you, Donald J. Trump, okay, not only was she only out of work for 24 hours. I mean, she got hired. She put out her resume. She got 6 calls. She got hired on the spot, running another office. Laid off Monday, rehired on Wednesday at a new job. Won't even miss a paycheck. But that's these boomers, man. That's what they do. That's the society that they have to just lie to your face. Will tell you one minute you're part of the nucleus of this company, and then the next minute kick you out the door. That's working for baby boomers. Horrible, horrific. You never, ever can have a feeling of safety or security around these people, because they lie at will. They lie ad nauseum. They'll lie right to your fucking face and then stab you in the back 10 minutes later. Hey, man, that's one of the drawbacks of work in a right-to-work state, but had our own run-ins with baby boomer destroying society this week. 2, given that I'm testing for firefighter jobs in 3 different states, many of residency requires once hired. I can't sign a lease not knowing where I may receive an offer, all of which are at least an hour away. Most are about 3, which better be soon. I have a conditional offer from one department 2 states away, contingent on passing a psychological and medical exam, which I've done before. This academy would start in January, and ironically, it's the same one that hired me years ago, right before the shit hit the fan with the recession. I've never wanted anything so bad in my life, and by rights, I earned it 12 years ago and should have been free. Thank you to everyone who replied and wishes me well. Luckily, there's some hiring because the economy's going well. Okay? What I'm going to tell you is, I don't care if you got to live in your fucking car with a P.O. box. I don't care if you got to set up a P.O. box and live in your car. Do it. Do it. If they're getting in that academy, do it. This is the anchor of the baby boomers. I mean, this is the carnage they leave everywhere they go. You can't even sign a lease. You can't get a house. You can't plan your fucking life. Since receiving my conditional offer, it seems like my family has been on the attack, hoping I fail. Again, sick, right? I don't know anyone else who would hope someone doesn't get hired as a firefighter. Before I continue, I want to give a disclaimer in addition to Ollie's. Yes, most of my abusers are baby boomers. Being born in the mid 1980s means my parents and their siblings are mostly 50s later end boomers. However, I agree with Ollie, it's not all boomers who are narcissistic, but it's a majority, i.e. 51% or more. I'll put it at like 91%. I mean, it's that rampant. Let me say that as an early Zennial, I understand that about 40% of my generation act like boomer light, especially younger Clinton-era born millennials who are not in the working world during the Great Recession. Right. That's what we're dealing with in society. You got 40% that drank the participation trophy Kool-Aid, okay? And, they don't want free speech. They don't want rights. They want open board. They want all that shit. Why? Because they don't want to be responsible for their own life. They need that boomer. They need the tit of the boomer to suckle on. That's what the boomer has set up. They only got about 40% of them, okay? And a lot of those are waking up. Last video was what? Okay, boomer. People are figuring out, wait a minute. You pushed these participation trophies on me. Now you want to criticize? Back to my update. I spoke to my cousin Ollie, the cheater, and told him to have his mom, my aunt, stop talking to me or I'll air the truth to his wife. I should mention that this cousin is a narcissist too, a Gen Xer only child, whom other relatives even joke that his mother considers him the second coming. He replied by saying, "Who the hell do you think you are?" I kept my cool and told him I just want to be left alone. I don't shit on anyone, and I'm not going to stand for the double standards anymore, meaning that if it's okay for your mom to talk about me without facts or proof, as well as bring up other things I did in middle school, I'm in my 30s, then your affair is a fair game. I agree with that. Because I've done that. That's almost like when I was younger, in my younger days. Okay. I had this girl. I remember I had this girl kept cutting me off and flipping me off. Okay. And she got stuck at a light and her boyfriend was in the car. And I'm like, I pointed at him. I'm like, get out of the fucking car. He's like, why? I didn't do it. She did it. I'm like, really? Really? I'll tell you what. I'm going to hold you responsible for what she does because you won't check this. That's kind of like what you got to do. Okay. You're not going to check her, then I'm going to check you for allowing it. I agree with that. Of course, he didn't get out of the car. Cooler heads prevailed. But my point is, sometimes when there's an enabler, you got to check the enabler. Sometimes you got to hold the baby boomers enabler. And a lot of times it's a Gen Xer. To elaborate, my aunt still brings up me getting suspended from 6th grade for a few days for fighting as evidence that I have issues and need help. Interesting enough, it did come up in a psychological test. I hadn't had a psychological test. I had not a few months ago. The doctor replied Thanks for your honesty. 12-year-old boys going through puberty fight. It's an awkward time in life. Right. Anybody who's going to tell you that, like, look, if you're going through a psychological exam and they ask you, have you ever been in a fight? And you're like, no, never been in a fight. They're going to think you're lying. If you know, if you're a 12-year-old, if you're a grown man and you went, obviously all boys go through fights. Nobody's going to really believe that you never had a fight. That was it. This was just one example. But there are others of my aunt bringing up stuff from childhood and judging me for it 20 years later. And if I were an adult, as if I were an adult at the time, she would ask things like, what were you thinking? Well, if you know it was wrong, why didn't you do it then? Like, what? This is it. Baby boomers love letting other baby boomers tell you, like, why is your mother and your family allowing the aunt to talk to you like this? None of your business, bitch. Referring to why at age 7 I didn't police my then 5-year-old brother from jumping on her sofa and backing the leg. She still brings this up once a year, and I only see her about 5 times a year. Yet responding I was 7, I didn't know it was my job to police a 5-year-old never goes over well. You know what should just go over well? Fuck you. Just be like, fuck you. I mentioned before that my brother is the golden child. This continues to this day as my brother is in his early 30s but acts 18. I'm going to skip childhood stuff because kids will be kids, and though there were plenty of examples, it's not really relevant to my current situation. Growing up, there were always double standards, but it became more apparent once we both could drive. Since the summer when I was 15, I had a full-time summer job every year through high school and college, and always averaged over 40 hours a week. When I was 13, I got my first part-time job. Throughout high school and college until he flunked out, my brother never worked more than 12 hours a week, but that was fine because he was Mr. Popular. It's like my brother. I had to work for my cars. I wasn't allowed to drive my parents' cars. My brother was given my parents' cars, allowed to drive their expensive cars. Didn't have to work. I was forced to work at 15. Like, not that I minded it. I remember the summer before my junior year. The school was on strike for a week, and my mother told me to call the golf course to see if I could work grounds crew for another week. I didn't. I worked all summer, 7 days a week, averaging 55 hours a week. Despite that being against child labor laws, my only days off all summer were 3 days when I had my wisdom teeth cut out. I hated that job, and my parents knew it but didn't care. I caught hell when I took a job at a hotel part-time in the winter, which became 6 days a week in the summer. My parents hated that I left the golf course for some reason, even though I enjoyed the hotel and was making 75 cents more an hour, because they know you hated it. That's why. They wanted to see you miserable. They wanted to control what you did. Even if you were making more money at another job, it didn't matter. In contrast, my brother refused to work, and that was okay in their eyes. It's different. It's always different. It's always different. My brother was King Dude Bros, sees himself as this big shot mafia guy because our grandfather and his brother ran some book. They're long dead. He started selling weed and pills in high school. By this time, I was away in college. He has a gambling problem, and mommy's bailed him out a few times. Unlike me, my brother did pay his own bills as a teen. Unlike me, my brother didn't pay his own bills as mommy did. Yet, he always had money for concert tickets, AC gambling trips. My mom's sister would chime in saying that I need to put myself out there more, and I don't like my brother. Mind you, I worked 7 days a week, and start time was 5:30 a.m. This continued after he went to jail for dealing. And I must mention that my friend that a friend of my dad's, who then worked at the Pentagon, warned him that he was on the watch list of our state troopers. He didn't listen. While in jail, everyone felt sorry for him. So even when they go to the golden child goes to jail, you're still the black sheep. Me, however, there was no empathy for losing my firefighter job thanks to the reception and the shitty golf course maintenance job despite graduating college with awards and honors, which they said were so important. Every award and scholarship I won was treated like it was nothing. However, my aunt and occasionally my mom bring up my brother's awards in middle school because, sixth grade is apparently the most important. Up until high school, my brother was the top 10 in his class, but I think it was because he was a year older as my parents held him back, just like my brother, a year older than everybody. A year older than everybody, and my mother still did all his elementary school work for him. That gave him his advantage and an advantage in the beginning. And the reason why they let him drive their cars and not me is so he could be more popular. Because when you get your license a year ahead of everybody in your class, and everybody wants to hang out with you. But what he turned out being was just everybody's fucking chauffeur. True, there isn't much difference between a 15 and 16-year-old, but there is between a 5 and 60-year-old. To this day, my aunt brings up how popular my brother was in high school, while I was a fringe popular because I would not get with the program. Sealia, my county in suburban Philadelphia, the boomer status quo dictates that your high school clique is for life. Yep. Because boomers never stop talking about the past. So of course the high school, everything about the boomers past is for life. Whether it's your high school clique, what they did on a sports team, concert they went to, the music they listened to, the drugs they did, no matter what cars they drove, the jobs they had, the experience they had, it's for life. And it's better than yours. It's always better than yours. Okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. Your response. Okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. That's it. Just says it all. Okay, boomer. Because you've had it all. You're supposed to graduate, go to college, then return and marry a girl from your high school. Why, I don't know. I've asked. My brother still doesn't work and sits home smoking weed, watching sports and mob movies. He isn't even looking for a job. He's got runnings around to do. My mom supports him completely while asking me for more money, even though she makes a profit off me small, but still. In addition to paying my own way and chipping into bills despite not being there much except to sleep, I do small repair around the house and yard, getting it ready to sell, help clean, and do my own laundry. My brother does none of the above. He won't even clean his own dishes, so I refer to him as the 12-year-old. She gives him money for gas while telling me I don't do enough around the house. I work 6 days a week, and I'm running around the tri-state area for firefighter jobs every other week, too. Well, no wonder they don't want you to leave, okay? You're just Cinderella with a dick. What are you doing? You're letting these baby boomers turn you into Cinderella with a cock. I don't know. I don't want to assume the gender of Cinderella's gender. Maybe soon Cinderella's a male. Maybe you're it. My brother is chilling as he's blazing and watching football. Back in March, he told her he couldn't work because basketball was on. My mom feels bad for him because all he went through, yet I get platitudes, even on parts of my abuse she acknowledges, and in terms of the double standards, the answer is I don't know. In my family, the more you fuck up, the more people bend over backwards to help. However, if you do everything right and get screwed, you're the bad guy for calling out cronyism, nepotism, and corruption because their county is perfect. My mother's favorite histrionics is her going to bed in the late afternoon after crumbling to facts she can't dispute. Who else has seen that tactic? A lot, I bet. My mother thinks she's so cunning, but she's not. She had people in the neighborhood fooled in the 90s, but no more now. Even some that don't really like me and considered me miserable growing up have recently said, wow, you were treated like a black sheep. Even friends of my brothers acknowledge the double standard. Yeah, what do they do about it? Do they call her out? No, you're no help to me. Oh, great, thanks. Thanks. You ever speak up for me? No, thanks. So you know what? Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself then. Recently, my mother had said if I tell my cousin's wife about the affairs, my aunt will call the fire departments and I'll be done. Okay, boomer. She said she will call the cops. I laughed, telling my mom just because my aunt views herself as better than everyone and a queen doesn't make it so. Airing dirty laundry is not a crime just because your narcissistic son is the adulterer. Also, my aunt doesn't even know which fire departments I'm testing in, yet my mom says she knows people. Though my aunt lived in the same county her whole life, part of me hopes this happens. I want to hear my captain laugh at, I just know baby boomer logic with no proof, or at best saying I am unfit because I gave my brother a black eye when I was 10 and he was 8. My mother really believes her retired secretary's sister is some kind of authority figure. Honestly, you would think she was a senator or something. My mom always defended her sister over me, even after admitting that she wants me to fail. I don't get it. I know she doesn't like me. So wouldn't she want me to be 2 states away? No. She wants you there miserable. She doesn't want you to succeed. I gave them all a chance to leave me alone. However, they won't and want to see me fail, so I think it's time to air the truth. Honestly, I think it's the right thing to do, not only to hurt the narcs, but it was happening to me, I would want to know. Hopefully, over 12 years of delay, it will finally be free and have my dream job in under 100 days. I appreciate your insights, Ali, and those who comment. Ali, let me know if you think it's time to air the truth. Sincerely, Anonymous. You know, here's what I would tell you. I would say, if you do anything to fuck up this job for me, if you do anything, I'm going to air the truth. Look, you have got to fit. Your problem is that you're still in that house. You have got to figure out somewhere else to go. Because once you're out of that house and not paying their bills for them, not acting like Cinderella with a fucking dick, okay, your other decisions will be a lot clearer and a lot easier to make. I know you say it's not possible. Well, here's what you should do. Stop giving them money. Stop paying for shit in the house. If you're only sleeping there, stop. Stop. Have the cable shut off. Have the internet shut off on them. Because you ain't paying for it. Stop being a sucker. Stop being Cinderella with a dick. Because that's what the baby boomers will make you into. I guess, thanks to baby boomers, Cinderella can have a dick. Sometimes Cinderella has a penis. Thanks, baby boomers. Thanks. Is that what you want to be? You decide. So, I hope that helps. Thank you for your contribution, another contribution in Story Anonymous. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like a private video made, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or you'd just like to make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.